Earlier this month, President Trump called for a full review of the Postal Service. The United States Postal Service has lost over $65 billion in the last decade, and the president is concerned about a potential taxpayer-funded bailout. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin is heading up the task force looking into pricing, operating costs, and policies. The president is on record saying that Amazon is draining the Postal Service in the way they use it. For years, conservatives have pushed the idea of privatizing the Postal Service. For more on this, let's turn to Mark Dimenstein. He's the president of the American Postal Workers Union. Mark, nice to have you with us tonight.
Nice to be here, Ed.
Where's the money? $65 billion. That is a story in itself, and there are no tax dollars lost in this.
I think it's two things. One, exactly what you said. The post office runs on zero tax dollars, and a lot of people don't understand that or realize that. And all their revenue comes from earnings from postage stamps and other products and services. The $65 billion is really a bogus, fraudulent figure. Its root, it derives primarily and almost entirely from a 2006 legislative congressional action, bipartisan action, that forced the post office to pre-fund retiree health benefits 75 years into the future and do it at $5.6 billion a year for 10 years. Now, that's for workers that don't even work at the post office yet, but at the time weren't even born yet. No company, no agency could have survived that, and that's the source of all the, quote, red ink. Other than that, the post office operationally has been doing quite well monetarily.
Do you trust the Treasury Secretary that the workers are going to get a fair shake at all of this? And what is your role in this, if any?
We'll have to look. The postal workers, millions upon millions of postal customers who rely on this great national treasure, hope that the starting point of the task force is a true commitment to help the Postal Service. So we'll have to see if it's a fair shake or not. If that's the starting point, we would certainly welcome the opportunity as the American Postal Workers Union to meet with the task force, to have our say, and to share what we think a bright future to post office.
Do you think you'll have a voice in this process, this review?
We don't know, but we certainly hope so.
Give us a solution. What would you do?
Well, I think the pre-funding mandate has to be fixed. It was again, it was a manufactured crisis to begin with. I think there has to be some ability for the post office to have flexibility in pricing and still have the lowest postage rates in the developed world. And I think the post office can do a lot more in expanded services such as financial services and so on, which would bring in more revenue and make the post office that much more relevant to the people in their neighborhood.
Is Amazon a problem or a good client?
I think Amazon's a good thing for the Postal Service. The Postal Service is delivering 40% of Amazon packages. I can't get into or know exactly what the pricing is, but I'm sure the post office is making money.
But they're doing what everybody else is doing, just as on a higher level.
Yes, and look, United Parcel Service, FedEx, they put a lot of packages into the postal system too.
They couldn't operate without you.
Couldn't do it because we go to every 157 million addresses 6 days a week and now sometimes 7 days a week.
Is this an effort to privatize?
We hope not. If it is, we're certainly going to oppose it along with the people of this country. If the task force proves to be a cover for the likes of the Heritage Foundation and groups like that that have had the target on the public postal service for years, then we'll be uniting with all our friends and allies and the people of this country to make sure the post office stays in the public domain, serves the public good, and is vibrant for generations to come.
And that money that was pre-funded through that legislation, where is it? Is it in a fund somewhere?
It's in the federal treasury.
It's in the treasury.
Yeah, and the fact that there's no tax dollars means the talk about a taxpayer bailout is really just not true.
Okay, Mark Dimenstein, President of the American Postal Workers Union. Thank you, Mark.